Hey, what's going on guys, the Deanless here. So with this new patch, my favorite hero, Sparrow, received a well-deserved buff, and I must say, this definitely puts her on par with the other Rangers. And by other Rangers, I mean Twin Blast and Murdoch. Now in this new patch, Sparrow received a buff to her Relentless passive, which now maxes out at 9% bonus damage, and she also received a buff to the attack speed that she gains per level. Before the patch, she didn't gain any attack speed per level, but now she gains 2.8 per level, which is a huge increase. This is something that I actually suggested on the Epic forum, so I'm going to take credit for this one. Now since I've already done a building guide for her, I'm not going to go into that much detail on how to play her. Instead, I'm going to go more so into some changes that I've made to my deck and build, and how to maximize her DPS while also providing some versatility. If you want to see that building guide, I have a link to it in the description below. That's where you can also find a link to my deck build on agora.gg. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button so that you're the first person to know when I release new content. Without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Now for the build. For consumables, I have one health potion, one strike token, and one healer token. For equipment, I have one Guardian's Ward, one Rift Magus Scepter, two Spears of the Rift Hunter, two Whirling Wands, Silent Indignation, Blade of Agora, and Stasis Gem. For the build order, you're going to want to start with the Guardian's Ward. If you're on comms and you know that your support is going to have a ward, then you can definitely go ahead and take the strike token and the healer token. That'll allow you to be super aggressive early game since you have the health regen. The next card you're going to want to equip after that is going to be your 6-point Rift Magus Scepter if you have your Guardian's Ward already. The next card after that will be your 6-point Whirling Wand or Stasis Gem. In the gameplay that you're going to see, I was laning against a steal, so I felt that I needed the Stasis Gem right away. But you don't necessarily have to equip that second or third. If you want to use one of the other 6-point cards, you can definitely go ahead and do that. The next card after that will be your smaller Spear of the Rift Hunter. At that point, you can discard your Rift Magus Scepter and equip your Blade of Agora for the crit bonus. The next card will be your larger Spear of the Rift Hunter and then Silent Indignation. Last but not least, I equip my 9-point Whirling Wand to finish up the build. Now nothing has really changed with Sparrow since she hasn't been given a rework, just a buff. Positioning is still really important when playing her. You don't want to be without your support, and you don't want to be without vision. In teamfights, you want to use your piercing shot to poke the enemy from safe distances. And you want to also try to get your support to peel for you. It's a lot harder to find reliable supports in solo queue, but you kind of have to make do. Try to stay behind them at all times during engagements. One thing that I like to do personally is I like to arrive to team fights a little bit late so that when I get there, most of the time the opposing team has already used most of their ultimates and most of their CC. With Sparrow, you don't want to chase kills, and you don't want to be the initiator because like any other Ranger, she's very squishy, and then she has no escape. Now you may be wondering why I don't have Blink Charm in this build. I'm sure you guys have looked at other builds and they probably include Blink Charm in them. Well, I don't find Blink Charm to be that efficient of a card. Just like I wouldn't put it on Countess, if you've seen my Countess build, I wouldn't put it on Sparrow as well. In my opinion, that card isn't worth it because you lose 5 points of damage to gain an escape ability that has a 3-minute cooldown. That's just not worth it to me. Instead, what I find to be effective on Sparrow is Stasis Gem. This card gives you immunity to all damage and CC for 2.5 seconds. So this is great for dodging Steel ultimates, Countess ultimates, Grim ultimates, pretty much any attack that does a shitload of damage. As you can see here, I get stunned by Decker under my tower, and then Steel comes literally out of nowhere and tries to ult me. 99% of the time, this would be instant death, but in this case, I have Stasis Gem equipped, so after I got stunned by Decker, I'm able to activate Stasis Gem to avoid the Steel ultimate and Bull Rush. After that, I'm perfectly fine to continue farming since they've used all their abilities. Now, Stasis Gem has a 45-second cooldown. That's another reason why I prefer it over Blink Charm. That cooldown is a lot more acceptable to me, 45 seconds versus 180 seconds. Now farming. I think farming is the most important thing for Sparrow, more important than any other carries because it's really difficult to secure kills with her in the early game. Murdoch has his snipe, Grim has GTFO, and Twin Blast has a lot of burst. Sparrow does have her piercing shot, but it's much harder to get kills with that than some of the other abilities that I just named. So with that being said, you want to farm. I actually call Sparrow the AFK farm queen. You want to farm as much as possible with her so that you can get a card advantage over the enemy ranger. One thing of note is that with a little bit of lifesteal, Sparrow can do all 3 Raptors by herself while using her ultimate. In my opinion, it's easier to do Raptors with Sparrow than it is with Seraph. So definitely take advantage of this. This is an easy way for you to get a leg up on the enemy team's ranger because once you reach full build, you're going to be hitting like a truck. Sparrow definitely has the highest DPS of any ranger now when you factor in her attack speed. With this build, you're going to be hitting for over 450 damage and attacking almost twice per second when you activate Silent Indignation, which means you're going to be doing roughly 900 DPS, which is insane. So to wrap up, with this new buff that Sparrow received, she's more in line with Twin Blast and Murdoch. She's definitely still the hardest ranger to play by far because she doesn't have an escape, but she now does the most damage by far, especially in team fights, when she uses her ultimate, which makes up for this. Remember, you want to farm in the early game to get a card advantage over the enemy team, and you want to stick behind your tanks and your support during team fights. Once the enemy has used their CC and ultimates, engage with your ultimate and piercing shot to finish them off. I want to thank everyone for watching my videos. Recently, I just reached 200 subscribers, so I'm super excited about that. If you haven't subscribed yet, definitely do so because I will be releasing a whole lot of new content coming up. If you haven't done so already, check out my Lieutenant Bellica and my Seraph builds, which can be found here. Once again, I want to thank everyone for watching this video, and I'll see you all soon. Peace!